Hey, good morning, Bobcats. Welcome back to the Startup Stories podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, we're here every Wednesday, 9 a.m. sharp. Be sure to tune in for some fresh entrepreneurial insights and stories. Last week, we had the best barber in San Marcos, Jared Cargill. Okay, he's a student who's striving for the six-figure mark through his own barbering business. Okay, so if you're looking for a cut or an inspiring story, go check out last week's episode. His Instagram's in the description below, so you can book a cut with him. Pretty cool guy. You can hear a story in person. But today, I'm excited to keep that momentum going. We have another entrepreneur here today who turned a boat rental business into a 10K per month water sports business. What started as like a favor turned into an operation offering wake surfing and wakeboarding. And he's the CEO of Boardbound Wake Co. And he's, doing lessons across the Austin Highland Lakes area, and he's scaling up, hoping to go into a few different locations. Please welcome Kaden Lytle.
How's it going, guys? My name's Kaden Lytle. I'm part owner of Boardbound Wake Co. Super excited to be here and talk about some stuff.
Yeah, welcome, dude. Happy
Thanks,
to have
man.
you. First off, let's dive into your background. I want to hear your story and where it all started for you.
So, I've always been very entrepreneurial based. Like back in middle school, I remember my very, very first business, I sold fidget spinners. I would custom.
Oh, you did that?
I would hydro dip fidget spinners for kids and sell it to people for an upcharge. But that evolved into one summer I was working. It was my summer after my freshman year. I was working for a similar charter business to my current one. They did summer camps and charters out in Lake LBJ.
What is the business, by the way?
So basically, they take clients, usually families or parties, and they go out and they will teach them how to wake surf or wakeboard, or if they already know how to wake surf, it's just like a boat day almost.
Okay.
There's also another side to it where summer camps, where you basically just take a group of kids, go out in the lake, tube, wakeboard, games, swimming, fun, basically.
Gotcha.
But I was working for one of these companies, getting paid $11 an hour, 10 hours a day out in the sun. And I always had the idea in my mind that I could probably do it myself. I have access to a boat. My dad had a boat at the time. He would let me use it from time to time, take friends out. But one day I was at one of my good friend's house, and his mom came up to me and asked me hey, can we use your dad's boat for my son's birthday party? And we're like, sure. It's she said hey, I'll pay you, come out.
Okay.
And I'm like, sure. So day comes, I trailer the boat out there, drop it in the lake, pick everybody up. And then there was one of the girls that was on the boat. She was asking me questions do you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I do this. Kind of thinking hey, I do it for somebody else, not
Right.
myself. She's like, well, my
The
family
girls
would
ask,
yeah, for real. But she's like, my family would love to go out. So at that point, it something kind of clicked in my head, and I'm like, huh, this might be something. And then so next week, I get a text from this mom. She's like, well, what's your rate? I'm like, okay, well, my boss charges $250 an hour. I'll do 200. And me kind of expecting her to haggle me on price. She's like, okay.
Really?
So I, kind of took off from there. Obviously I was
Big upgrade from fidget spinners.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, it was just so surreal, going from $11 an hour to my first day making, or it wasn't the first part, that birthday party, but that first day taking that family out, I made $1,000 in a day, which was more.
Really?
It was, yeah, I took them out for 7-8 hours. And I remember coming home, and she paid me all in cash. I came home, I laid it all out in front of me. I'm sitting there looking I've been doing something wrong, So it was very, it was very quick for me. I was very lucky. It almost kind of fell into my lap, which I'm extremely fortunate that it happened. But from there, it took a lot of growing and a lot of growing pains and a lot of sacrifices. But it's, evolved into something that's, it more than I could have ever dreamed.
How did you pull your first couple of clients?
It was all word of mouth. Like again,
Really? That first girl who you took out,
yeah,
kept recommending, or was
and
it the family?
it was the family. Like
Mhm.
so, I made sure I was very very thankful that they were
Mhm.
like letting me take them, like they're trusting me with their kids, that type of stuff. And I made sure to treat them with as well as possible.
Yeah.
So it ended up like people really like your service, they like your story, they like everything. They will like push for you. And you know, I was like, hey, like if you have any friends that want to go out, that also might want to like refer them to me, and that just spreads like wildfire from there.
Wow.
Um,
Was it pretty contained to, so you're from Houston, right?
yes, sir.
We dove into this earlier.
Yeah.
Uh, and you spent summers out in Austin. How did you meet these friends?
So it's a funny story actually. I had a random suite mate in freshman year of college. His name's Drake. I think you might actually be having
Mhm.
him on here soon.
Right.
He owns a business also. I kind of got, I became really good friends with him. We think alike. We're very entrepreneurial driven. Um, and my parents, we used to have a lake house out in Lake Travis area, but we don't have it anymore. So my parents are in Houston, but I really wanted to be out in the hill country. I love that area.
Right.
And he lives out there, and he was starting up this detailing company. And he, was like, hey, I'll come help you out, and I'll get a job out there, which ended up being that boat charter business
Mhm.
or boat charter company that I was working for. And through Drake, I met my really, really good friends and eventually partners, Hudson and Harry. They're brothers. And I got really close with their entire family. They're amazing. I love them to pieces. If they're watching, I love y'all. Like, really. Um, and yeah, just meeting those people, and like the more people you meet in that community, it's a very very friendly community. Like the wakeboarding, wake surfing, boat community. Like they'll just introduce you to more and more people, and your network can, like my network just spread like wildfire the second I made a couple connections in that
When did you
area.
start? 2023?
Yes, so I started on my dad's boat in late summer 2023. It was
Okay.
only like I only had like it was like late August, I think. It was like I had 2 weeks on my dad's boat.
And that was freshman year of college?
Yeah, yeah. Though that was the summer after freshman year. So
Okay.
going into sophomore year, I ran that for 2 weeks.
And you're a junior now.
I'm a junior now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I ran that for 2 weeks, and then it. I ran for 2 weeks, and then the season ended. I had to go back to school, and then yeah.
Yeah, cool. You know, so I did like a quick Google search of wake surfing and wakeboarding,
hmm
and I feel like most people aren't familiar about like what that is. Could you
hmm
kind of explain it?
So wakeboarding and wake surfing, um, it's they're both sports.
Mhm.
They're considered towboat sports. It's kind of like snowboarding, but you're behind a boat, and you have a board that's strapped to your feet, and you have a handle, and the boat pulls you, and you can jump around, do flips, do tricks, kind
What
of
happens if
fun.
you let go?
If you let go and you fall, you sink in the water.
Okay.
And wake surfing is a little different. It's become more and more popular lately. It's you actually don't have a rope, but you use the boat or the wave that the boat produces as almost like a surf wave, like a surfer would on the ocean. So you can get up with a rope, throw the
Mhm.
rope in, and you can just sit on the wave and surf.
Oh,
And
so is it like wakeboarding, but you let go and you continue surfing?
yep. So yeah, the wave pushes the board towards the boat, and you can kind
Uh-huh.
of sit there and balance it out, and then you can start doing tricks, and it's a lot of fun.
Cool. So it's like is it similar to real surfing? Have you done
Yeah,
surfing?
yeah, I've done. It's not very similar to real surfing. I'll tell you
Really?
that.
Okay.
Real surfing is extreme. Like you're sitting out, you're paddling out, getting thrashed by waves, and you get
Uh-huh.
like you're out there for 2 hours. You maybe get like a full minute on a wave. You know what I mean?
Oh wow.
But wake surfing, the reason why I like it is that it's very chill, low impact, low danger.
Mhm.
You go out there, the boat picks you up, the wave is like infinite. You can go for however long you can stay up, and you can just
Yeah.
keep going over and over again for like hours, and you're not having to sit there paddling out, you know, having to catch waves. It's a lot more chill, and it's a lot easier, a lot faster learning curve than I think surfing.
Oh, okay. Sounds like you get a lot more bang for your buck
Yeah, yeah.
with wake surfing. Yeah.
And if you can get on a boat or afford a boat, then yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Uh was wake or was water sports and wakeboarding, has that always been your passion, or when did you get into it?
I grew up on the lake. Like my middle name's Lake Travis after Travis. Like I was 2 years old, sitting on my dad's lap, steering the boat, like wakeboarding. It's been my life, my family's life for longer than I can remember.
And your family has a lake house out in Austin, or
We used to. We sold it, or growing up, we sold it in like 2018. They're working on
okay.
building a new one right now, but that's kind of I would spend all my summers and weekends out there. That's why I like to say I'm half from Houston, half from Austin, because I spent so much time in Austin and like
Mhm.
the north of Lake Travis area,
I
just
mean that's a
on the lake.
drive though. Like
Yeah, we would
every weekend is
we would do it.
crazy.
We do it every week, and the amount of time I've spent on 290 in between Houston and Austin is probably nuts.
Dang. What made you realize that you could do this as like a full time thing? Was it the $1,000
Yeah,
like paycheck?
yeah. Like there's that moment that just kind of clicked to me, and I was like, why am I getting paid $1,000 a month basically to
Right.
to like spend 8 hours a day in the sun, working my butt off, if I can work one day on in mine on a boat that I'm familiar with people that not just kids, but like people that I like
hmm
and can choose almost.
It's a fun time too.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And then after work, I can. It's it started off with my dad's boat, but on my boat now, I can go after work and surf. It's I can do whatever I want, and it's just so much fun. I get to look forward to that every day when I'm working, and it's awesome.
And is this like more of a seasonal thing, or are you running this all the time?
So yeah, that's one of the downsides to it, is that it is only a summer season thing. Like the demand for the charters and the camps really, like, it's the season basically starts early May and ends early September.
And you started off with lessons, right?
Yep.
What made you think about the summer camp aspect?
So the guy that I worked for, he did summer camps. And I really, when you look down at the numbers, you can make a lot more money per boat you doing summer camps.
How much do you charge for the lessons versus the summer camp? Because $200 a day or $200 an hour is
So
sounds like good money.
yeah, so the going rate, kind of the range in Austin, we're like very much on the low side. We charge, I think this summer we're charging $225 an hour
For the summer camp or for lessons?
for lessons.
For lessons.
For lessons. But there's professional surfers out there that in Austin that charge $800-900 an hour for
Oh,
lessons.
wow.
Like, it is nuts, and they book up. Like, there is so much money in that. There's
And
some.
they're doing that same like the exact same
Yeah, yeah.
thing.
Like I tell you, like you're out there so often, you'll see them, like they start waving to each other because you realize, hey, like we're out here all the time. Might as well, wave to
Yeah.
each other. You kind of notice like who's on the lake. Like you'll start like recognizing boats, and you'll see like usually the people that there'll be new people on that boat every day, and you're like, oh, they're probably doing charters too. And there's a lot of companies in Austin that do it. There's probably over 10 that do like the same thing.
Wow.
But for camps, most camps that in Austin and also like West Austin, it's over $1,000 a head for the camps.
Okay, and then how long is the summer camp? Is it an everyday kind of thing?
Yeah, it's every day, like 9 to 4. So it's not like an overnight camp or anything.
Right.
It's 9 to 4. You do lunch, and drop the kids off at the end of the day, pick them up in the morning.
And how long is the summer camp?
You talking about like the length, like the week? Oh yeah, it's only a week long. It's 5 days.
Oh, I thought it was like a full summer camp.
Oh no.
I was like $1,000.
No. It's
Does not
five.
sound competitive.
It's
but-
5 days from 9 to 4 every day,
Okay.
and then
And it helps with like scheduling clients because they feel like they get a better deal with it, right?
yeah. We definitely, because we're still a very new company in the market, we're trying to really have a competitive edge with our price. That's why we're definitely on the lower side for a lot of these camps. But yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Did you have any prior business experience, or was this like a learn as you go kind of thing?
I really didn't know anything going into this. Like I've always known that I've wanted to, you know, I wanted to own my own business eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always knew that. I've always like ever since high school, I was always saying like, hey, I'm gonna try to do this, I'm gonna try to do that, and I didn't really, you know, nothing ever worked out. So I didn't really have very much experience, especially with like filing LLCs or doing taxes. I didn't know anything. But you know, I was able to figure it out. So
Did you get any help? Was it like a lot of your parents, or did you like
so
go to mentors?
that's where the partners that that I took on.
Weren't the partners around your age? You said that you met them through friends.
Yeah. So I have two partners currently, Hudson and Harry. Again, hardest workers. You know, they're the best guys. Like, you know, they're also my best friends. People say don't go into business with your friends. I don't believe in that. Like, if you're a good enough person and you can, you know, find good enough people, it works out just fine. But I had like it was almost kind of a sacrifice, I think, for me. I had an idea at the very end of that first summer that, like, okay, I want to be sole proprietor. You know, I want to run everything myself, do the whole business side myself, and then kind of just pay people hourly, right?
Right.
And then, you know, as the next summer season started rolling around, I was kind of like, this is a lot more work than what I thought it was going to be, you know? And I had no idea like what I was, you know, going to do for all this stuff. You know, there's so much stuff to be done. And Hudson and Harry, their family, they have a very entrepreneurial family. Their dad, very, very smart guy. And he helped us with business like consulting, which was, you know, amazing. He let us, you know, helped us avoid liability, you know, taught us how to set up an LLC, you know, how do you calculate your startup cost? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? He helped with everything. Like, it would not have been possible without him. Like,
wow,
through and through. And it was, you know, and through that partnership, you know, with help me, like, you know, I sacrificed, you know, kind of like my pride and, you know, like what I was hoping, you know, to do all myself, but
yeah,
in the end of the day, I couldn't. And bringing on Hudson and Harry and all of them into this business really, like, now I wouldn't trade it for anything, you know. They provided so much value, so much help, and so much friendship. Like, they treat me like family. I love that, you know. Like, now, but yeah, that's I can't really think of anything else to say about that. But yeah, just taking on that partnership really helped me change like the business, and, you know, made me realize, you know, okay, I don't know everything. I need help, and they helped with everything with that.
What were some of the key sacrifices you had to make when you were starting out?
It was mainly just like the equity, you know, in the company, you know, letting them have ownership. Also,
when did you let them get ownership? Was it like as soon as you started
that
you brought them on board?
It was so that at the end of the first summer, I was operating no LLC, no insurance, nothing. So, you know,
That
stupid, right?
A liability.
Yeah,
Oh my
definitely. Like, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Did you ever like have any clients or friends do some like stupid stuff that you were like, oh wow, I need liability insurance?
I did not that first summer.
Okay.
I like to think that I'm very in control. Like, everyone you're on the boat listens to whoever's like the captain, basically. And I like to think I'm not in control of everything, but I like to, you know, make sure no one's doing anything stupid. I like to think I do a good job of that.
Are you the only counselor, or do you have to hire other people, other captains?
Yes. So Hudson and Harry are captains, and then near the end of summer 2024, I really had to start hiring like external help, just contractors, you know, people that I know that, you know, know their way around boats, know their stuff,
Right.
just to help me out, because there was at the end of like summer 2024, it was a lot. We had a lot of business, and it was way more than we were expecting.
Really?
Yeah, like our client base kind of blew up at the beginning of last August. And Hudson and Harry actually ended up having to go back to college. So it was just me.
Oh, yikes.
So I was sitting there like, well, what am I going to do? I remember at one time I had to pay one of these guys to drive down from Dallas the night of. I think I paid them like $40 an hour or something to drive down and work for a day because I like couldn't do anything. Like nobody was there. Also, like I took a trip in the middle of August. I was in New York City with my friends, and I'm having on the phone the entire time, like, hey, like making sure waking up at 4 a.m., making sure everyone's up. Like, hey, are y'all gonna be at the boat ramp today? Am I gonna need to find somebody else? That type of stuff. But yeah, managing people that are working for you and like that almost represent like your name is very, very stressful. But I learned a lot. And I'm going to apply that.
Like the most stressful part of owning the business or of running the business?
Yeah.
Trusting others to do as good of a job as you know that you can do.
Yeah, it's that along with, I think with a business, there's a lot of liability with boats. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that go wrong, and things can go wrong really quickly, and people can get hurt, or you can hurt the boat, and that's normally really expensive.
Right.
There's actually a funny story. Our very, very first charter, summer 2024, we go out Lake Austin, pick up this brand new like client's family, right? Mm-hmm. We have a great day, make a decent amount of money, drop them off. We're having fun. We're surfing afterwards. We're celebrating first one of the year. And then we go to put the boat on the trailer, and I don't know what happened, and then I overshoot the trailer a little bit with the boat, and I hear of the prop smacking against the side of the boat. Boom, $1,000 prop. All of our money we made that day down the drain, just like that.
That sucks.
It's just stuff like that. It can go like just the tiniest little mess up with these type of things can be terrible.
Do you have to so when I'm sure you run the numbers a lot. Mm-hmm. When you're running the numbers, do you take into account like the boat's wear and tear, because boats only last so long, right? And I've heard that boats have super expensive maintenance.
Yep. So, the boat that I got, I definitely didn't get a new boat. New surf boats that are able to do all of the wakeboarding, wake surfing, they're $200,000-$300,000. I bought a boat from 2017 that was already like that's the reason I was able to get such a good deal on it, is that it was already beat to crap. Tears in the upholstery, and I had to fix it all up. But the main expense is normally going to be depreciation on boats, because boats, you go out buy a $300,000 boat, that first year it's going to depreciate $100,000. Like it's going to lose 30% of its value just by driving it off the lot, basically.
Wow. And
on top of that, there is a lot of maintenance. But if you know how to do it yourself, you can get around a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Oil changes, you have to change the impeller, like transmission fluids, that type of stuff.
Is that the main cost, or does labor also factor in for what you guys do?
Talking about for maintenance or just for in general?
Just like for the business.
For the business, our biggest expense by far is gas. Okay. Gasoline. So gas for the boat. The boat has
no electric boats yet.
Well, there are electric boats, but they can't run they can only run for like 3 hours. We're out there 10 hours a day, running. Right. Mm-hmm. But our boat has a 70-gallon fuel tank. Mm-hmm. $3 a gallon, you're thinking over near $200 a tank, right? And we'll go through that in a day. Dang. So, and then we fill that up every day, and sometimes we have to refill in the middle of the day. Just because, and we have to use marina gas, which marina gas is normally double what it is at the pump outside of the lake. It'll be $7 a gallon at the marina gas. So we definitely make sure to try and fuel up off the lake, but sometimes we do have to fuel up on the lake, and it hurts.
Using those numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys have been doing great from a competition standpoint, but you said that there were 10 other companies doing what you do. Mm-hmm. How did you carve out your own section of the market?
I think it has to do a lot with our client base and how we approach our clients.
Was there a strategy for it, or it just kind of worked out?
I think it kind of worked out, but in hindsight, I think we did it perfectly. Mm-hmm. I'm a firm believer that, people don't buy into businesses, they buy into people, and they buy into stories, right? So, you're out there with the family for, 6 hours, right? You're not going to sit there like awkward. You're going to be talking with them the entire time. They're like, talking to you like, hey, like, what is this? Like, are you the business owner or whatever? and you get to talking to them and start telling you their story, like, how what they're paying for came to be, and people love it. They buy into it. And a lot of these clients, like especially the first ones that we had, they will like fight tooth and nail for you almost, because like,
Really?
like they buy into your story, and like, they feel like they're a part of it, And I think that is like our main like nest egg of how we were able to, scale from that. Because our first clients, they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna push you to everybody I know. I'm gonna market for you. I'm gonna do everything." Along with, we also had referrals. If you were refer somebody that would lead to a charter, or a lesson, you would get a free hour. Is something that we did.
Oh, wow.
So that also helped, give more incentive for them to push for us. But again, I think it was more of, they felt like they were a part of our story, and they were buying into us as people. And I think that is really the heart of why we were able to grow so quickly.
It sounds to me that you guys offer an experience because that other companies don't. Because I'm assuming that these other companies are just hiring independent contractors and people who don't really care. They're just there being paid like $20 an hour to drive a boat for someone.
Yeah.
Versus you guys who have an incentive to make the experience the best that it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Are you? First off, do I have that right?
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Okay.
Like some of the other charter companies, there'll be one boat driver. He'll be sitting there kind of like not really doing too much, hitting his vape while he's driving, that kind of stuff. It's not really like the best. We try and make our environment very family friendly, which I think a lot of other boat charters, they try to make it almost like a party kind of thing. Because the surf boat culture is a very party culture, I'll be honest. Boat tie-ups, beer, that type of stuff. I think we try to make it very family friendly, and I think a lot of people respect that. But I think that's, a big part of why like those clients are just so,
So you've actually carved out your own little niche.
Yeah, I think.
Are you worried about it, like maybe losing quality when you start having to outsource to other people?
Yeah. So that's a hard thing. It's a very hard thing because
you plan on expanding, right? Into Dallas and
yeah. So what one of my mentors always says is that you'll never work for somebody else like you work for yourself. Like, you will work the hardest for yourself. You will go to war for yourself, right? But if you're sitting there, getting paid $20 an hour,
yeah,
you're just not gonna do it. So it's a very hard thing, especially, like you said, we're planning to have a boat running in Dallas this summer. We are taking on another partner for that who lives in Dallas, and he's going to run it up there so that he has ownership to help that.
Smart.
Also, I'm going to be spending a lot of time in Dallas with him.
Are you kind of like separating that as like a different LLC, or is it?
So we decided not to franchise it like that. So if you have a separate LLC, it'd be kind of more like a franchise. We realized that we're not really ready for a franchise. Eventually, we do want to do it like that. But it's all under the same LLC. It's a different lease, obviously. We'll have different expenses. It'd be completely different. But the hardest part, I think, that we're trying to work on is, how do we keep the same level of quality, right? And how do we ensure that? And I'm going to be up in Dallas all the time, making sure that, that stays the same. And Hudson and Harry will be, making sure that stays the same in Austin. Expanding from there, though, I'm going to have to figure that out. I really don't know.
How did you guys tackle the idea of expansion? Like, it seems like such a scary thing,
Yeah.
to take your business, move it all the way from Austin to Dallas is a drive.
Yeah. So it wasn't really any of our ideas, actually. It was a buddy of mine. His name's Cal, or Callan.
Okay.
He came up to me and, he's like, well, like, this is so cool. Like, I want in, I'm like, okay, well, we could talk about it. He's a very, very talented wakeboarder. He's really, really good. Very, business mindset. And he's like, okay, well, let's figure it out. Talk about it. We know that your dad has a boat. Maybe we can lease it from him or something. That ended up not working, but, we ended up doing as his, what's it called? Payment for his equity. He has to put a down payment on a new boat, right? For him to use in Dallas. Because we tried to use his dad's boat, but, he didn't really like the idea of us putting hours on his boat, liability, that type of stuff.
There.
But from there, we were able to incorporate him. We're still in the process of, filling out and like figuring everything out. But that was a big part. And I think now that he has ownership, again, what I said, my mentor told me, it's going to be a big part of he has ownership and he wants to make sure this succeeds because,
It's his boat.
It's his boat.
Like,
It's
he has to find a way to pay for it.
yeah, it's his boat on the line,
Yeah.
And I'll definitely be up there helping him with it. And also I'm going to be back and forth through it, honest, like this summer. With Austin,
so
Dallas.
much driving.
But it's going to be worth it though. I love the grind, to be honest, bro. It's like, it sucks kind of in the moment, I guess, but like you feel like you're doing something,
Yeah.
I would
right.
so much rather do that than work an office job or something.
So I want to ask you a question about your view of entrepreneurship. Like, how do you define success, and what do you think entrepreneurship is to you? Is it like fulfillment or purpose, or?
I think entrepreneurship, I think it's having an idea of something or, seeing an opportunity and then like making it happen. There's a lot of people out there that, they have ideas, they have all this, thought, and, they sit there and think about it, make a to-do list about it. They don't ever like act upon it. I think entrepreneurship is, going out there, start doing it with no experience and learning as you go and, accomplishing your goals, just going out there and doing it.
And like turning ideas to action.
Yeah, turning ideas into something, turning nothing into something basically. And I really love that. This is like after having, seeing myself succeed through this is that, I've been able to turn this into, new things that I'm working on, it's given me like almost like this inner self-confidence.
How do you manage like your clarity and your focus? Because so we've talked in the past, and when we were talking, you were trying other things with like real estate, all kinds of stuff. And it sounds like this wakeboarding thing is going to be a ton of work, especially with the expansion that you guys have planned. How do you keep your clarity,
Clarity,
or your focus on one thing?
So the nice thing about the current business is that it's seasonal. So the grind is only, May to September. I mean, obviously, like throughout the year, we're doing weekly meetings, right? It's always, somewhere in my mind, right? It's always there, something's always happening with it, but, it's never like, like super pressing. We're making sure right now, like, we're staying on schedule for startup, post an ad once a week, that type of stuff.
Gotcha.
But as far as like the other stuff, I'm, quite a few things are happening. I'm president of an org. I'm working on a new startup, which that's a whole story for another time.
Right. Might have to bring you back.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And along with school on top of all that.
Yeah.
I guess I just lock in and get it done.
It's fair.
I will say that my ADHD medication definitely helps me a lot with that. But yeah, I just kind of like, I create a list of things to do that, that need to be done that week. And I separate it by day. That actually helps a lot. I think about it. I forgot that I do that, but to-do list and then just grind them out, get them done.
Gotcha. Is there anything that you wish you would have done differently looking back?
I don't think so. I don't think I have any regrets. I love the entire process of it. It was awesome. And I would do it again 1,000 times over.
Maybe just that one time you scratched the propeller.
No, that was a learning process. No, because I'm actually kind of happy that happened. Because
really? Okay.
I learned a lot about, like you can be on such a high, right? Like first thing, made a bunch of money and it can go south like that. You can't take anything for granted in the moment,
So you think that those experiences have kept you humble?
Yeah. Also, I remember Hudson's dad after we went back to his house after that. He goes, "How's your first day being an entrepreneur, huh?" or something like that. But it was very good learning experience. But
do you have any advice for current entrepreneurs who are either trying to start their own company or possibly trying to start a company like yours?
I would say look for partners. you know, you can do it yourself, but I think it's going to be a lot less enjoyable and a lot more work, and, you know, having to deal with things that go wrong by yourself versus, you know, being able to kind of laugh about it, like in the moment with, you know, your partners.
Right.
And also people, you know, that can bring different skill sets into the picture. I think that is extremely helpful. And that's what I would say to anybody that's like, you know, starting something new, is like, you know, find some of the people that can share your dream, share your idea, and, you know, build with you, and, you know, hopefully succeed with you, you know. I would say that.
Wow. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast.
I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
It was a cool story.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck with your expansion into Dallas. I hope it all turns out well. Crazy that you balance all that stuff. You know, startup, seasonal startup, a new startup, and school, and being the president of an org. What org, by the way?
The wake team.
The wake team.
Kind of goes hand in hand.
Of course it is. It's good for business.
Yeah, it is good. It's good.
But yeah, thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, real quick, before we go, I want to dive into the new section of CIE, you know, dive into what we have going on. For Thursday, actually tomorrow, we have a Bobcat Bazaar event going on at LBJ Mall. So be sure, if you're a small student entrepreneur or you're a student entrepreneur with a small business, be sure to turn up to that. Basically what it is you message my good friend Connor. He gives you a spot on the quad, and which I believe normally costs money to rent out. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, you get a spot on the quad. You can do some good marketing there, sell whatever service you or business product you have, what, you know, anything. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Y'all take care.
Do I stop it?